how to make the ultimate health vacuum smoothie. However, in order to do the ultimate health smoothie, you need ultimate ingredients. And so one of those ingredients is extremely clean water. This is really more of a health routine that I developed to save my life, basically. And that's what we're going to do today. But before I begin, I'm going to harvest the water here. Hold on. In order to really truly clean water, it literally takes 3 to 6 hours to make at least 1 gallon. Depending on the type of carbon distiller you have. I run my water through the reverse osmosis system, and then I put it in my distiller so that I don't have to use the carbon part, and it keeps the distiller so clean that then I rarely need to clean it. But the important part more than anything, I mean, if there was a easier way, I would do it, but to be quite honest with you, this is not very hard. But what's important to me is just really clean water. Maybe a lot of people don't care. They'll just drink tap water or out of, the average filter, which is fine. But if you knew what was in water, and you even knew the pipes it went through, for example, to get into your home, or how dirty the water filters actually get, it's actually kind of gross. And there's just no other way to clean all parasites, all bacteria, all viruses out of water without a method like this. So that's how I get the morning started here. Yes. Okay, so let's keep moving forward here. I'm going to show you another part of my routine here in a second, actually. Okay, this water's almost full. I'll show you how I do it. Just fill in this part with the reverse osmosis water. Reverse osmosis is actually a decent filtration modality. It's not the best, but it's, in my opinion, better than a carbon filter. And they're pretty cheap. They're not my favorite, but it's nice to have as a backup and just something that comes out of the sink. But then I'm going to run it through. This thing's kind of heavy. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Put it in the carbon distiller. And then once it's in there, I can show you. I just put it in there. It's hard to carry everything here. But just start up. And that's it. That's how easy that is. Okay, the next part of the protocol, I already drank my super clean hydrogen water for the morning. That's part of the protocol. But I am using this other product lately for people who want to really improve their immune systems. Let's see here. But want to do it the easy way. Hold on. Grab one of these towels. I got water all over here. And this is probably one of the easiest ways that I've seen. And I'm really impressed by this product, so that's why I'm going to use it. And this one's at a website called hman.petclub247.com. But this is Coriolus versicolor. This is a special mushroom extract. Most powerful mushroom it appears to be in the world of its type, in Japan actually. It appears this is made by the Japanese. And on top of it all, they figured out a way to do the extract during a certain time of its growth, and it is so powerful. I don't think there's anything more powerful than this. And I love Paul Stamets and his work, but this one might have just they found a new technique is all. I'm sure Paul Stamets will eventually figure that same thing out and probably do something very similar. But with that being said, I'm going to go and take these on an empty stomach. I like to take 5, 2 to 3 times a day. And that's just for like crazy, if you try to make your immune system crazy. People use it for the big C word that ends with an R. And that's because they saw some really interesting results in animals. And I've been hearing even some humans having some really crazy results. And mushrooms are pretty magical. So, yeah, I think, I do agree with Paul Stamets on his work and mushrooms and whatnot. But now let's just go ahead and make breakfast, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay. Let's go ahead and make the ultimate super healthy vacuum smoothie. This is basically what I make for breakfast every morning. And not too many people comment this, but somebody was commenting. Actually, if you guys have any questions while I'm doing this, you're welcome to it. This is live, so this is when people have a chance to chat, because beyond that, I don't have a lot of time to chat. First, I use this product called Power Shake. Why this one? Because everything in it is food. Super, super clean as far as, you know, pesticides and everything. And I use it as a multi-nutrient or really a multivitamin. But I use this because, again, the body responds better to food. That's the research. I'm a data-driven guy, so I'm always reading the data. And the body just clearly responds better to food. So I use this instead of a pill. Can you take a multivitamin pill? Sure, you can. Is it going to be as good? Probably not. But hey, it's better than being deficient. So you do what you can, you know, based on what you can do. And for people who are always asking where to get this, this is at a website called iShopPurium.com. Purium is P-U-R-I-U-M as in Mary. All right. And if you want a discount code actually on it, and you want to support the channel, that would be the code UPRISING144K. Okay, let's go ahead and put this away. Their bags are kind of funky and they're not closing and very well, and that's because they make them, they're like biodegradable, so they feel a little different, which is kind of cool. Nice that they're trying to do their part. In fact, like I said, I actually really appreciate that company. Look what they did. They did a lab test on their, they're always lab testing their products, on their Power Shake, and they discovered some impurities, and so they were like, oh, we're not gonna sell this batch, some of the ingredients, you know, yada, yada, yada. I thought it was really cool. And that's why I think their lab test showed so good, because I was using a different product and their lab tests were okay. They weren't the best I've ever seen, but it was the best product I could find at the time. And I've been using it for a long time, but this one is clearly better. So I'm always switching to the best. Wow, I'm out of turmeric. Wow, 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 wow. Do I have another bag? Maybe, but that's enough for today. This one's from rncstore.com, RNC Labs. I like lab tested, good stuff. This is just ground up apricot seeds, but really a good source of B17, like naturally. And again, really clean and good omegas and good stuff like that, but it appears to have anti-cancer properties. They've done research, obviously. You can read the studies, I've read them. And I think it looks good. That's why, might as well. You don't have to put this particular one in the smoothie. The big thing is the Power Shake. I mean, you've got to have your nutrients, and what I'm going to put in the smoothie is still not going to be enough for all my nutrients, because getting all your nutrients is not easy. It's Twin says peace. Hey, I like peace. So really important to overcome your nutritional deficiencies. That's kind of one of the keys to health. One of the keys. That's obviously what I discovered a very long time ago. Very important. Now this one makes it taste amazing. This one's been shocking me, just absolutely shocked the crap out of me, this one. Organic matcha, green tea matcha from Japan, of course. I hate to say this, but I don't like the stuff from China. After seeing their lab tests, it was not good. And so the Japanese have the cleanest matcha green tea I've ever seen from all the testing. And it just changes the flavor of it. And I'm really surprised. And of course, the crazy health benefits of green tea and matcha. So might as well, I found it. And I was like, all right, why not? You can see 100% Japanese green tea powder. Woohoo! All right. We'll go with that. That one's really good. This one, cacao, appears to actually activate stem cells. Do you have to put this in there too? No. These are just stuff, when I find something that is affordable and it's just a raw ingredient and it's organic, and I mean like a really good deal, then, and I like it, then I'll put it in the smoothie if I think it'll go well. But there's certain things that I think are like staples or foundational to the smoothie, and then there's things that are just extra. So this cacao, chocolatey too. You know, the chocolate goes good with the matcha, oddly enough. Okay. Moving on. All right. Let's get started because as we all have to get to work, all has to be done very quickly. All right. Let's see here. Next one. Ooh. The next one is super greens. You should see the testing, the epigenetic testing on super greens. Pretty flippin' awesome. Appears to be extremely good for you. We're talking about rich leafy greens. We're talking about spinach, kale, chard. There are some people out there that think vegetables are bad for you. So that does happen. But everybody has the right to their opinion. However, like I said, I look at the data. And of course, long-term data. They've done studies on different people throughout the years, and they have some really, really good research out there. But the most recent epigenetic study I saw it wasn't just mind-blowing for me. It was mind-blowing for the people who did the research. Nobody expected the results that came out. All I can tell you is, I mean, as far as for longevity, the telomeres, it appears to be extremely good for you. And to me, it only makes sense. And especially when I read, I read a lot of ancient scriptural wisdom, which I have used in a lot of my protocols, by the way. Because what I like to do is I like to look at the data from both, obviously, like actual scientific data, but line it up with ancient wisdom. And if they're all saying the same thing, then it's kind of like, okay, that makes sense. But when it comes to food, I'm actually a little surprised how much arguing there is about food, because I kind of feel like it's just pretty simple. You know, I think unless you have an allergy or something, which these days a lot of people have a lot of gut issues. And of course, that to me is where hydrogen comes in, and clean water. Because I personally think a lot of the stuff is being caused. There's a lot of things that can cause all these different issues. But I think that the big one that's causing a lot of issues is a lot of contaminants, and a lot of the contaminants in our water, and they affect children more than even adults. That doesn't mean that it doesn't affect adults, okay? I'm just saying more, you know. But I will say that I think the water is kind of a big issue, and that's the reason that I clean it to the highest degree. I don't even care, just get everything out of it. Even all the minerals, it's fine. Just get everything out of it. I want organic minerals anyway. The minerals from food seems to be better anyway. So I added all those. I add minerals to the actual smoothie. So, okay. So here we go. When you first start, see all the powder I have in here? These are all my nutrients, minerals, everything. And it's going to basically create a, dare I say, like a dance, but it's going to work with the smoothie because of all the fibers and antioxidants, and then all the minerals. They actually work together. I found a study on that too, which I was already doing this, but surprised that they even did a study on it. I was so surprised actually that somebody's like, okay, we're going to do some studies on this, on making a smoothie. And sure enough, and I did learn something. In fact, they learned something. The results they weren't what they anticipated. More things happened than even they expected to happen. I'm telling you, this smoothie, you guys, some people may laugh at it. This thing is like the ultimate. Super good. Really, really good for you. And if you did literally nothing else, like if you wanted a really easy health routine, you know, if you're not crazy sick and you just want to stay healthy or feel really good, you clean your water to the highest degree. You put it in the hydrogen generator and drink the hydrogen water, because that, in my opinion, is absolute next level. That's part of what really saved my life, because I had some pretty major problems. And then, if you just did that in the morning, which by the way is really easy, and then you just want to take it a step further and you make a smoothie like this, and then that's it. Just live your normal day. You don't have to be all crazy, you know, eat relatively healthy, whatever. But if you just did that, and I've seen people do that, it would be, in my personal opinion, remember, I don't give any medical advice. I don't make any medical claims. I don't make any claims for or against any product or products. But like I said, what I'll tell you is, so many people, including myself, you just feel so good that to go without it. I went without it I don't remember, like 2 or 3 days not long ago. And I mean, I was fine because, you know, my body's all loaded up with nutrients and everything, but just didn't feel as good, you know. This really, really helps. Okay, there we go. Start with the super greens. And why super greens? You know, most people don't get enough vegetables. When people make a smoothie, people always want to put a ton of fruit in it. I mean, the whole reason, well, maybe not the whole reason, but one of the big reasons for me to try to make a smoothie is to try to get certain foods in me that maybe I don't like, or maybe I don't eat very often or enough of. Okay. Uh-oh. Of course, this happens all the time. I'm out of blueberries. I gotta go get some, guys. All right. Let's start with something else for now. We'll come back to the organic blueberries that are amazing for the vascular system, potentially. Well, they are anti-angiogenic, so I guess technically could have a positive effect on cancer from the sound of it. Walnuts appear to be anti-cancerous. A lot of these ingredients you're going to notice are either anti-cancerous or anti-parasitic. You can read the studies because, like I said, I'm not making any claims. So I'll tell you one thing, walnuts with that green matcha, it gets really, really kind of, I don't know, dare I say, kind of feels creamy and rich, almost like dairy. Do I stay away from dairy? For the most part, I'll have a cheat day once in a while. I'm not having to be crazy strict like I once was because I feel so much better, you know? So I can relax a little bit, but I still, and I'm putting some dried raisins in there because I like the content of boron. Plus raisins are good for you. They're organic, sun-dried, all that good stuff. All right, put these away. I'm gonna go get those blueberries, so I'll be right back. You have to hold on a second. That's a good workout in the morning. A lot of stairs. Okay. Then I go blueberries. Berries in general are really good for you. Raspberries, blackberries, all sorts of berries, all sorts of berries. But I like blueberries, blueberries. Organic ones, of course. Because potentially have a lot of stuff sprayed on them. All right, look at this. I don't know about you guys, but I think produce is beautiful. And look at this beauty. I got all sorts of stuff here. Oh, you know what? Let's put some hydrogen water in there. Let's do that. If you are making the ultimate smoothie, you want to use, again, the cleanest water. See, I'm putting water. I'm not putting milk. I'm not putting juice. I'm putting water. Not only water, the cleanest water. And it's got hydrogen in it so that it'll soak in to those fruits and vegetables and nuts. And I don't think I have any seeds in there. Oh yeah, I am going to put some seeds. In fact, chia seeds soaked in hydrogen water to enhance them even more. These make everything kind of rich and creamy also. No wonder this, you know, people drink this smoothie and they're like, what the heck's in it? It tastes like dairy. Like really rich and creamy. Which obviously people like and appreciate. Next one, you're about to see the beauty of all these. I know that's gonna be great tasting. You know, it really is. It really does. I mean, it's not, you know, some people don't actually believe it. I'm surprised. I mean, I don't want to say, I mean, I guess maybe I don't know if I used to be a picky eater or not, actually. I don't think I was, but maybe I was a little bit. I just wanted American food, you know. I like burgers and pizza and stuff like that. But man, somebody would have showed me this, I would have not guessed that it would have tasted as good as it does. And I've had people say that, and then they try it, and they're like, wow, I can't believe all these vegetables taste good, and they feel good is the important part. Okay, so that, some beets here. Well, let's see here. Yeah, okay, let me grab a set of scissors. Because I actually like to keep as much skin on as I possibly can, but when it doesn't look good, like this skin to me does not look very appetizing. It doesn't look good. So I'm gonna peel, and I only peel off the parts that I think look kind of bad. And yes, some people think it's weird, but I'm using scissors. I don't know, they work for me. I don't think anybody does that. I guess you could say that I invented it. But it works great for me and what I'm doing here. Let's go ahead and cut this one up too. But beets, you know, not only all the benefits that I talk about, anti-cancer, anti-parasitic, all this stuff, but on top of it, a lot of these ingredients, including the beets, help the body produce something called nitric oxide. And nobody's gonna hear that because nobody almost is in this room. We got 3 people in here and maybe only one's listening, but all I'll say is that producing nitric oxide is kind of one of the secrets. And if you can get your food to do that, extremely important and good for you. You want to open up, look, there is a secret to health, and I can't really, I mean, I could try to explain it to people, but to be quite honest, I don't think people understand. And of course, nobody's listening, it doesn't really matter, but the point, which is fine. But the point is that this particular secret, even if I told people, they just won't get it. They just don't understand. It's like they can't see it in their mind's eye. I mean, I do, but that's obviously, it took a long time for me to realize it, by the way. And so we all live our lives and then we wonder why we get sick, you know. But the secret has to do, and I was telling you that I like these ancient verses, and in all sorts of ancient scripture to learn, because there is wisdom there, and wisdom is timeless. And the same thing goes now that, you know, went back then when whoever wrote it. But ultimately, the secret's the blood, guys, just so you know. That is the secret. The secret for health has to do with your blood. Super, super magical. And then where do you produce the blood, right? That's important too, so that you can produce, quote unquote, good blood. But it's not just about the blood. It's the pipes. You know, it's kind of like for water. What pipes are they going through? Twin says, as long as someone's listening, you got an audience. Oh, thank you, twins. And, you know, the secret is the way that your blood moves, by the way. Now, beyond that, yeah, you need nutrients in the blood. You need minerals in the blood. You need all these different things that are really important to be carried throughout the body. But as the ancient scriptures say, life is in the blood. And I'll tell you right now, that's when you get sick. Less life, more sick. More life, less sick. Kind of like the hydrogen water. The hydrogen water to me is like true living water. It's like life water. I could go into why, but look at this. Isn't this pretty? Look at that. Isn't that cool? I'll just talk to you twins. Look at this celery. Oh, I mean, I gotta say, I mean, produce is, dare I say, kind of like art. It really is very, very pretty. Everybody will be like, you're ridiculous, dude. I'd rather have a coffee and a scone, or coffee and a bagel, or a donut. Deep fried bread, please. With sugar on it. All right, so let's go with what, in my opinion, God gave us. Isn't that what the scriptures say? All the plants of the earth, Mom. You shall eat from them. Yeah, Mom. Yep. That's why, like I said, it kind of makes me laugh sometimes when people literally think not only that vegetables are bad for you. I mean, I would agree with it if the data suggested it, but it really doesn't. Data looks really good on fruits and vegetables. And nuts too. Nuts are really good for you. And seeds are really good. I normally put flax seeds in there, but I ran out. You know, I do the chia seeds, a lot of good omegas, a lot of good minerals, a lot of good fiber. I'll tell you, that is this. That's now see, the fiber is a secret in another way. Like I said, the ultimate secret is really the blood. And you have to figure out, well, I'm basically showing you how I've already kind of, dare I say, figured it out. Clearly this has worked for numerous people, including myself. And the things that I've seen it do are things that I've literally had doctors say, oh, that's not possible. It's like, okay, you go ahead, buddy. Only things are possible with your drugs, right? That's cool. You know what? I'm not going to say anything against that or whatever because, well, we don't have free speech anyway, but that's all good. Let people do what they want to do, right? Hey, and I'm not saying all medical drugs are bad. I do understand them. I did work in the field, so I do get it. And some of them you need them to save your life, mostly because you're not treating your body right, most likely, in the first place. But once in a while, you need them. You know, you get something like an infection. Sometimes you just need that kind of stuff. Ed says, how are we? Well, I don't know what you mean by how we are, but everything all good. Just making the ultimate super crazy healthy smoothie here and talking about health. Talking about the human body. I mean, health is just, you know what? It's kind of like, let's say somebody says, hey, I want to get rid of acne, for say. Well, you're going to have to do some things that are good for your body and your health, and I promise they'll go away. I had the same issue. I had really bad acne. Or if somebody says, hey, I have an issue with my blood pressure, like all these things. You know, all these things end up coming down to pretty much the same thing. And then it pretty much comes down to, obviously, your health and your body. And one thing that I discovered, I'll share with you a discovery. I discovered that the majority of people who are sick, and I would say, I don't know, at least 80%, which is kind of a high number. The majority of people's health problems, unfortunately, is self-induced. So it's something that they're doing that they don't realize they're doing, whether the water they're drinking, and I always like to start with the water because, I mean, one way or another, if you're going to want to get healthy, you need clean water. That's my personal opinion. That's not a claim. I mean, and then even if you are healthy, I think that clean water is an extremely good preventative. And you don't want the toxic stuff that's in water potentially to be running through your kidneys and your liver because, well, in my opinion, that's just going to shorten your life. It's going to cause problems to your kidneys. They're not going to work properly. Your liver won't be at 100%. Then your brain won't be working right. I mean, on and on it goes. You know, just on and on it goes, guys. It's all about what goes in that blood and the way that that blood moves. That is actually crucial. And of course, where it can get to. That's why the hydrogen is kind of amazing, actually. If you've seen my video number 68, it's pretty remarkable. You see the way that the blood moves when you consume nothing, when you consume just really nice, clean spring water. And then when they put hydrogen in it from the Hydrofix, man, the blood, the way it moves. And it's not just the movement, because that's part of it. On top of it all, let's see how much more I can fit in this thing. I'm about to run out of room here. On top of it all, open up what's called ghost vessels or ghost veins. See, people don't know really about that. And then that you're not even getting blood supply in there. And how important it would be to get proper blood supply. That's what I'm telling you. It's all about, it's about the blood. But like I said, you have to understand the relationship of the blood to other parts of the body. As far as your GI system, for example. And this is where fiber comes in. So all these things dance together. And then to create a very simple protocol, you know, something that you can live with that will maximize your health, you don't have to be perfect every single day. Haven't you noticed? I have definitely not tried to be perfect every single day. But if I can at least get my clean hydrogen water in me and make sure I'm getting my nutrients with some of these powders, and then making some smoothie like this, just that really makes a, you know, pretty remarkable difference. I've actually seen it do things that are just Well, according to some medical professionals, don't think it's possible, but I think that's the hydrogen. The hydrogen's the one that's really amazing. Okay. But if you combine it with other good, amazing stuff, then hey, you know. Well, I got a damaged banana here. I hate to use it, but at some point I got to use this guy, so I'm going to use it today. Yikes. Okay. Let's use the good parts, though. I'm going to leave the bad parts behind. Kind of like a bad apple. I don't want it to ruin my smoothie. I mean, it probably wouldn't ruin it. Just got dented is all. Take some of that off. I'm sure it'll still taste delicious. Okay, we're almost there for the few people still watching. I guess, you know, I totally get it. But I think maybe, what percentage of Americans do you think really care about health? Like, and I mean really care, not like, I mean obviously a lot of people care, especially when they're sick. But a lot of people are looking for like some pill or some supplement to change their life, rather than changing the very things that they've done probably to make themselves sick in the first place. You know, supplements are not, in my opinion, the best answer. I mean, are there some good ones out there? Yes, of course. But the majority of them, I'm not very fond of, to be quite honest with you guys. Not very fond of most products out there. So I'm very, very cautious. Okay, let's see here. How much water is in there? Because we're gonna vacuum it up. You guys can see the vacuum smoothie in action now. Let's pour a tiny bit more hydrogen water in there. It's probably gonna be too much water, but I'll try to put as much as I can. Yep, that's definitely enough. Okay, here we go, the moment of truth. Oh wait, let's wet the seals on this guy. I know people will be like, why do you do you know, vegetables are bad for you, you know? Says Ed, okay. Why are you eating vegetables, Greg? Well, if you look at the most recent epigenetic studies, they appear to be amazing for you, actually. So, but you know, everybody can believe what they want to believe. Like I said, ancient scriptures also said the plants are for us to eat. There's actually other ancient scriptures I've found that support that too. There's so many actually, and then you look at the people who live the longest in the world. But okay, that's a whole other subject. Let's go ahead and vacuum this and see how far we get. Oh, and stop. Okay, that was already quick. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Let's make some room. Whoops, let's go. Whoa. Okay, now let's make some room here by, I gotta turn off the vacuum blender. I don't wanna try to turn on while I'm blending. And let's make some space by doing this. And look how this blender does not get stuck. My old blender would get stuck. And look, it cleared up some air pockets. So let's try that again. There we go. Okay, let's try it again. I'm gonna suck a little more of the oxygen out of here. There it goes. There it goes. Yikes, that's close. Okay, let's try this again. That reaches 16. It's supposed to be at a 16 pressure, so that's enough. Let's see, just in case, that we can do a little bit more. No, that's enough, I think. Well, okay. I'm gonna push it. I probably shouldn't, but let's try this again. Oh, that's close. Okay, stop. Because you don't want to suck the smoothie into the pumps. That will damage it. And we're now at a 17. That's more than good enough. Now let's go ahead and make this breakfast smoothie. Here we go. And I'll grab a few magic ingredients. And when I say magic, I mean magical for your health. And when you really move the blood the way that I've been talking about, and you have all these crazy nutrients in the blood, now we're talking about ultimate nutrient absorption. This is something that I've been boggling my doctors' minds, apparently. They just can't understand my nutrient absorption. And I know that I used to have terrible nutrient absorption, so I know that my method is definitely working. Okay, let's grab some of that stuff. Okay. Yeah, I never hear people talk enough about that. They don't even know how to do it, I don't think. But this is part of the secret. The color does look a little different today. I did put beets. I did put blueberries. I put everything that I normally do. Well, yeah, I did actually, yeah. I'm trying to think of something that I might have missed. I missed flax seeds. I didn't have flax seeds today. And I didn't put natto in today. All right, almost done. And it likes to dance around when it's chopping up something because the blades are running into probably all like the walnuts and different things. And I still want to grind it down a little more. I still see chunks in there, so hold on a second. Jumping around today. What the heck did I put in it? I put the same thing I always do. That's weird. You know, funny that you talk about, by the way, vegetables being bad for you, or baby fruits or nuts or whatever. Where are you going to get your fiber? You have the function of fiber is so crazy important. People really don't understand. It's going to be your next trend. Just watch, and somebody's going to try to sell some type of fiber supplement or something, which nothing compares to the food. So I'm all about the food, as you guys probably know. Nothing compares to Mother Nature, guys. And actually, I try to mimic Mother Nature in order to do a lot of my protocols. It should be done, but I still hear it grinding stuff. Okay, let's try this again. I can feel it chopping stuff up. That's wild. I don't know what we did differently today. Maybe just the order that you put in things sometimes. But the beautiful part is that it's not oxidizing as much because it's under vacuum. So I'm chopping this stuff without it oxidizing. Then I can ingest it. And it's just really great. I can't believe somebody came up with it. Let's just try it because this still feels like it's chopping stuff up. But all right, as you guys know, you'll never get this lid off. This thing is vacuum sucked on there with the power of like literally probably as much as an elephant weighs. The secret is open the pressure valve. Wow, that didn't make much noise. That's wild. Hold on a second. It normally makes more noise. Let's see where the pressure's at. Oh, that's interesting. Looks like we might have lost some pressure today. Weird. Okay. Still got to put the tissue under the valve. It just doesn't work as good. Let's make sure we can get this thing off of here. Let's check this seal out. Nope, all looks good. Maybe it was all that blending. Okay, let's go ahead and put the magic ingredient in here. I say magic ingredient, I gotta tell you guys, in my opinion, you'd be, if you want ultimate health, I don't want to say you'd be a fool for doing this, but I mean, I was a fool for a very long time. Because I used to just think, nah, I'll eat whatever I want, I'll be just fine. I'm not, I'm not concerned about my health, of course, when you're young. And you know what? Vitamin D3. I can't not tell you how important this stuff is. Vitamin D is so important for your immune system. I used to catch a cold all the time. I used to get sick so easy, drop of a hat, catch the flu, would not get over the flu. It was horrible. And I had all sorts of other health issues on top of it, but my immune system was, unfortunately, got a baccio. Okay, next magic ingredient, hemp hearts. Probably some of the twins already knows, hemp seeds and D3. You already know, my friend. Best protein in the world. Best balance of omega-3s and 6s. Obviously, comes from the plants of the earth, mom. And so lots of protein, but lots of good minerals and nutrients. It almost looks like a multivitamin all by itself. And if you notice all these ingredients that I like to use, they're very simple ingredients in the sense that if you go and look at the label, this is the way that I do things here. If you look at the label, it just has hemp seed. That's all it is. It's the only ingredient in here. Anything that has 10 or 20 or 30 ingredients, I stay away from. I tend to just buy very, very simple ingredients and mostly just actual food. I say food because there's the craziest stuff supposedly in food. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Ed says, hey, just ordered some hemp hearts. Last magic ingredient is hydrogen. This is like a real big secret because hydrogen, in my opinion, is what's helping my nutritional absorption on top of everything, moving the blood where it needs to go, and helping fight any negative effects from whether it's, whether it's oxalates or whether it's what's the word I'm looking for? Whether there's glyphosate or anything like that in my food. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, this is the time, because I'm only going to be here a moment. I got to get to work myself. But if you guys have anything you want to ask, we're live. So from Saturday night, huh? Okay, let's see. Just gonna sit down and enjoy this smoothie. Basically my breakfast. So what I'm gonna do is inhale pure hydrogen. Definitely don't want it mixed with oxygen. Some people think that that's better. You don't want to use oxygen very much, guys. We already have a ton of it. We have a ton of it already in our atmosphere. I mean, we're breathing in right now at least 20%. And if you want to research what happens when you supplement oxygen, you'll see what happens in the long term. Short term is okay, but not long term. You definitely need to know your protocols when it comes to, well, just about any gas that you use. Okay, I don't think I see any questions. I will show you a hydrogen inhalation tip. When you're doing it, take a deep breath periodically. Get it deeper into the lungs. Ann Gardiner says, how much of the purium do you put in the smoothie? Well, if you watch the video, I guess you could see, but I'll go grab what I was using. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay. Now, one thing I wish Purium would do is supply some type of scooper. But I got mine from a different product, and I've just been using it, and it works great. So as far as the Purium is concerned, I don't know the actual number. This is what I found. And I fill it up almost to the top. And how big it is. But that gives you an idea. And I can measure it, but I don't know if that answers your question, Ann. Hopefully. Ed says, I don't know why. I can't think of anything. Okay. What does your dinner consist of? It depends. I've shown videos of all the different things I eat. Miso soup is really good. I always have a lot of vegetables. I mean, this is basically what I mostly eat is fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, and mushrooms. That's pretty much the biggest things that I eat. Periodically, I'll have, you know, a little seafood and stuff, but it really depends on the day, to be quite honest with you. I will tell you guys, if you want, by the way, I did open up a new YouTube channel, but I wasn't sure how much I should say about it. But you probably won't even be able to find it. Ann Gardner says, on the package it says 4.5 pounds, 1 to 2 eggs a day. So I wasn't sure you used that much. Yeah, I mean, that's just been the amount that I've been using, and it works. And the reason I use that amount is because for every smoothie that I make, that amount, what I order every month, is exactly the right amount. I run out almost right on cue. Twin says, all raw, or do you cook your veggies? I definitely, sometimes I do them raw. Some of them are raw, some aren't. You know, I steam food, soups. Obviously, I like to steam rice. You know, here's another health tip for you. That's my opinion. Stay away from bread. I almost want to grab, see if somebody here has, well, here, let me see if somebody else here has some bread. Hold on, let me see. Probably would be bread anyway. Okay. Sorry guys, I can't find any bread. What I'll tell you is, I'll give you a really simple health tip. Anybody here want to comment whether they eat bread? Tell me if you eat bread daily or whatever. Ed says, can you tell us the YouTube name or not? Yeah, it's called Happy Japan, but I don't think you'll find it. I think you'd need a link. I released a link and then I just deleted it. I was like, you know what? I'm moving real soon. I have to look at the calendar, but I don't know, maybe a week or something. I have to look at the exact date, but moving very soon. So, you know, I am still gonna do health videos as far as for this channel, but I wanted to do different subjects for quite some time. But whenever I tried, people would always make comments and say, we only want to hear about hydrogen and health. So I was like thinking, okay, maybe I'll open up a new channel for, and I want to show a lot of like beautiful things over there. All right, so Twin says, yes, I eat bread. This is something, most people eat bread. And this to me is one of the easiest things that maybe you could change in your lifestyle. And look at the ingredients of bread and you're gonna see just so many ingredients. If you get rice, like I get organic, Japanese made rice. They're master farmers. They're probably the best farmers of rice in the world. And so I just buy that. And if you look at the ingredient, it just says rice. It's more simple. When you're mixing all these things, it gets a little complicated and they always throw something in there that ain't good for you. So I keep things as simple as possible. So if you want to change your health, I would stop with bread personally. I'm not saying stop with carbs. I know people get real crazy about that. Stop processed sugar, stop bread, maybe stop cheese and dairy, and find other ways that are healthier. Ann Gardner says, I lived in Japan as a baby, little baby. Always hope to go back soon. Yeah, it's a big move, it's a big deal, but it's gonna be great. You know, one of the real reason that I'm actually going, I don't know if I should share with you guys the real reason I'm going, but Ed says sounds great. I've actually heard of rice bread. I'll do rice bread if it has a ton of ingredients again. Try to keep it really simple. Just steamed rice. That would be simple. I'm not a huge fan of oats these days, but even just oatmeal would be a better choice in my opinion. if you feel the need to get the carbs. My body, I don't know what it is, guys, but something's happened because I'm not consuming a ton of food. I mean, this is all I really eat until dinner time. And yet, this may be hard for you guys to believe, I'm gaining weight. I don't mean unhealthy weight. I mean like muscle. And so I was gonna do a video about it. So far, I'm up to almost 20 pounds in roughly 3.5 months or so that it's been. And I'm not even trying that hard. I think I time my exercises. I work out for about 15 to 20 minutes. That's about it. Beyond that, it's just stretching and different stuff like that, you know. So that is the ultimate vacuum smoothie, guys. It tastes really good today too. That matcha is changing this thing up. You guys want to hear the health benefits of matcha? Here's the thing. I bet you there's more to discover, but I bet you the Japanese have done extensive research on this. Let's see, because they've done a lot of research on natto too. Okay, let's see. I wish I could find some. It'll take me a little while to find some scientific stuff. Anne says you are thriving. Well, that's very sweet. Thank you. Okay, so these are actually proven methods, not proven methods, proven effects that matcha on the human health. So these are actually proven ones. Let's see. But obviously it appears to be good for your heart, for your weight, controlling weight. More antioxidants, which is really great. But let's see what it really, really does. Let's see here. Let's see what the science has shown. Here we go. Studies on matcha. They have done quite a few studies. Wow, look at that. Most of the things I like to do, if you notice, I like things that protect me. Hydrogen protects me. Why? Because we're surrounded by so many chemicals and so much craziness these days. You need protection, okay? All right, so here we go. Studies of matcha and its components have unearthed a variety of benefits. I knew that there was a lot of stuff. I know it's good for you. So it's so simple just to have it. Okay, so one, it actually shows that it can protect your liver. There you go. That's an important one. We got our liver and our kidneys they have to be really good and healthy. Also promotes heart health. That was the one thing that was supposed to kill me, was my heart. I really screwed up my heart. I don't need to go into how I did it, but I did. And my cardiologist was like, you'll be lucky to have 10 years. And by the way, that was about 10 years ago. But of course, my heart is not doing what it once did. And the cardiologist clearly saw what it used to do, but it went away and he couldn't believe it went away. He was like, no, you need surgery. I did it without surgery, guys. So anyway, are you moving to Japan to do research? Yeah, I mean, I can share with you what I'm doing if you want. So here are the benefits. So matcha is also very high in antioxidants and something called catechins, which is a plant compound. People are saying poo-pooing plants. Plants are amazing. It acts as a natural antioxidant to stabilize free radicals. Another reason I like to do, obviously, the hydrogen water and my food, both of them. So that way, you know, they don't damage cells as much and cause chronic disease. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't know this. Did you guys know matcha is actually grown in the shade? I didn't know that. So the catechin content, if that's how I'm pronouncing it correctly, is actually lower than other types of green tea. However, when you dissolve it in water, it produces triple the amount. So that's interesting. Okay, let's see here. Amy says, does fruit sugar not spike your insulin like table sugar? It seems like there would be a lot of sugar in the smoothie. Does fiber offset that effect? There you go. The research shows the body reacts differently to processed sugar, even sugar from honey, which is very sweet, and then sugar from like fruit. It does react differently. Are you going to get some form of, not a spike, but are you going to get an elevation of blood glucose? Yeah, obviously. But it's more about a stable blood glucose. It's one of the reasons that I put a lot of vegetables. The Japanese discovered that not only the vegetables, stabilizing blood glucose in your blood. I've been talking about blood a lot today. is extremely important. You don't want too low, you don't want too high. Life in the end, guys, is all about balance. So when I load up on the hydrogen water, that's where that really makes a huge difference. Load it up on hydrogen. I've seen hydrogen act like insulin. It's crazy. It does a lot of things. It acts like a lot of things, but it helps regulate that blood glucose. So I load up on the hydrogen water, even inhaling the hydrogen right now while I have my meal. And then all the fiber also appears to help regulate it. In fact, the study that the Japanese did was on vegetables. They found that the vegetables appear to help regulate if you eat them first thing in the morning, which is crazy. When I read that, I'm like, how am I going to do that? That's one of the reasons I created the smoothie. And it appears to help regulate blood glucose all day long. Isn't that crazy? If you eat vegetables first thing in the morning, of course, I do my hydrogen water throughout the day on top of it, helping blood glucose. You know, there's a lot of people that I know have diabetes and can't control their blood glucose. So I'm really big on controlling mine. And so I don't know if that answers your question. Anne says, are you moving to Japan to do research? Oh yeah, I'm gonna answer that in a second. Oh, I guess I already answered. So hopefully that answers your question, Amy. And I'll answer the Japan thing in a second. Let's just, I don't know if you guys are even interested in this matcha and the things that it can do, or green tea. So obviously the liver is vital to your health, okay? It is literally has a central role as far as flushing out toxins, metabolizing drugs also, by the way, and just processing nutrients in general. My liver was crap, just so you know. My whole body was just an absolute mess. Just, you guys already probably know that. So it was bad. So basically some studies have actually found that matcha appears to actually help protect your liver. So the health of your liver. And then Adamantis said, hey, I just stumbled across this channel and I'm curious regarding hydrogen water. I've heard of the benefits. How effective are those hydrogen flasks you see online? Is electrolysis possible for them? Okay, so Adamantis, I've already answered this question probably a million times in my videos, but I'll answer for you right now here live. The simple answer, in my opinion, because I don't make any claims for or against any product or products, whatever, but I've researched hydrogen extensively. I'm known as the hydrogen man for a reason, okay? And what I've realized is that almost nobody in America knows about hydrogen. In fact, not many people in general do. They know about the benefits. They've seen the benefits in studies and they're like, oh my God, hydrogen's great for you. Okay, that's awesome. Those little bottles, in my opinion, are just garbage. They're just trash. I have one here just to show, but if you really want the true benefits of hydrogen, it's not something that you just buy in a little bottle and it's gonna give you all the crazy benefits of hydrogen. You need a proper protocol. You need to make it properly. And those little bottles, if you look closely, they're pretty much all made in China. Some people claim that they're not. They're made in China, in my opinion, because I've seen the metal on them. They're all using the same metal pretty much. And they plate the metal. They plate it with platinum, which, if you know anything about electrolysis with plated metals and water, in my opinion, it's not the best combination. By the way, thanks for all the thumbs up, guys. I was noticing people doing that. Then you look at the membranes they use. I've seen the lab tests on the membranes. They scare me. In fact, they scare me so much that I will not use one of those little bottles. I don't care. I'm not going to use one. The equipment that I ended up getting, and I did so much research on this, I can tell you the things to stay away from, or I can just tell you what I got. I don't know what you prefer. But yeah, those little bottles, in my opinion, they're just a gimmick. They're going to end up in a landfill. A lot of my research, I discovered that they're pretty much faulty because of their design and size. They're going to overheat. You can't run them all the time. You're not going to be able to make therapeutic amounts of hydrogen that you can ingest, in my opinion. You don't want to directly electrolyze the water, and I don't like the metal in the membranes that they're using. So there's a lot of things not to like. What I ended up discovering, after looking at all the parameters that one should look at when looking at hydrogen, I ended up finding, literally, it's ironic that I should have just done this in the first place, the best product, and I found it, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing does everything right. What is this machine? Turns out it's the #1 machine in all of Japan for hydrogen. That would make sense now. The Japanese tend to, they're when it comes to hydrogen, they know their stuff. If you want to look at the official website, it's called holyhydrogen.com, and you can check out the one that I'm inhaling from that one right now. That's the other difference. You don't just want something that makes water, you want something that makes gas also, but you don't want something that just makes gas only and not the water. And the way that you make the water is really, really important. There's inhalation machines that they try to tell you you can make water also. They don't work that good. And so, and you really want high purity, really high quality metal. Anyway, Yeah, Holy Hydrogen is the name of the website. So that's the one that I use because it's the best. And you guys know I'm picky. That's, you know. And then Plan C says, easily one of the best health channels in the world, hands down. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. And I try to keep things simple, you know. Plan C says, thanks for all your continued efforts, Greg, to bring all this information to the public. One day you will be fully recognized or full recognized for all your endless effort. Someday, huh, right? Thank you so much. Adamantis says, helpful, thanks. Yeah, Adamantis, all I'll say is too, I stay away from hydrogen pills because I saw the lab test and what's in them, I don't like them. Plus they acidify water and they smell like crap, they taste like crap, I don't like them. And also stay away from devices that use any lye or sodium hydroxide. Believe it or not, some companies actually use chemicals to make their hydrogen. In my opinion, is absolutely insane, but that's what they do. And yeah, if you want to do it right, and ironically, if you do it right, like the Japanese machine is actually very reliable. That's the thing that nobody talks about. Those little bottles are not reliable. And the way that I know this is because I've asked many questions and I thought Japan should have a bottle. And after doing extensive research, they basically are saying that they're just not reliable. They're too small, they'll heat up, they end up breaking, end up in a landfill, and most likely not even making the highest quality of hydrogen that one would want if you're trying to improve your health. If you're just trying to play around with it, you could, but I mean, I wouldn't even put it in my body because I'd be afraid or concerned about the metals flaking off because of the technology. China doesn't have good metal technology, guys, just so you know. Someday they'll get there, but the Japanese, the Americans, and the Germans have the best metal. Hence the reason the cars that you normally see. So anyway, okay. Twins says soon. Dremore says, is this going to be the last live stream on this channel? No, not at all. I mean, I'm still gonna have this channel and I'm still going to do videos about health on this channel. It's just that this channel is really focused about health. If I find some cool stuff in Japan about health, I'm gonna share it with you guys. The other channel is really focused, this is gonna sound kind of weird, but it's really about joy, happiness, looking for happiness, and showing beautiful things about different cultures. This one's gonna be a lot about Japan, obviously, but it's not like it'll be the only one. Periodically, I plan on traveling to different places in Asia, and I'll be showing a lot of that. And I'll be probably traveling, quote unquote, all around the world and whatnot and sharing a lot of that. But Japan is a place that is kind of near and dear to my heart just because of certain things that the people do. I really personally believe a lot in people, and I think people, I like when people are kind to each other. I like when people want to be good to themselves, obviously, and good to others. And the Japanese are like extremely kind, really high level of etiquette, and I just appreciate that, and it rubs off into their country, and it's just awesome. Dramore says, hope you travel to Sri Lanka. Probably I will at some point. It's a very spiritual place. Well, you know, yes, and Japan is a very spiritual place too. It's actually, the journey to happiness, in my opinion, has a lot to do with spirituality also. Give me 1 second. Can I get more smooth? Yikes. Making a mess. Oh boy. Spilled a little smoothie here. Hold on a second. 10:30. Okay. Well, this will be my last one. That's what's so crazy. And I say crazy because Dramore says, but someone told me that Japanese just have a surface level kindness. Really? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Dramore says they feel it's not genuine kindness from the heart. You know, I've met a lot of Japanese, and there is a thing as being polite, and yes, they're very polite, and they are kind. But think about this, Dramore. If they weren't truly kind, as you're saying, from their heart, like if you're in Japan, and I've been in some other countries, okay? You drop your wallet in some random country, most people are gonna probably steal it. You drop your wallet in Japan, you can have like 6 people trying to give it to you and picking it up, and you know, if you dropped a ton of stuff, there's just more kindness in general. I'm not gonna say that every single person there is kind, I'm not going to, make a quote unquote claim like that, but they're very polite, and they're not perfect people, as nobody is. But with that being said, let's keep moving on with this matcha thing I was reading. Like I said, unless you guys have questions, because I only have a little bit of time left. Excuse me. This sometimes the hydrogen brings a little moisture to the nose. Okay, all right. I disagree with my friend. I do think they are very kind. They're very kind. Plan C says, and they also, think about this, they also live longer than anybody of any industrialized nation in the world. There's something to do with kindness, doing the right things, and then living a long life. Okay. Plan C says, the yen is having issues right now. I've noticed that. I hope the average person in Japan is not overly affected with whatever's happens. They are actually struggling a lot. America has so much hyperinflation, all this crazy stuff. But Japan, guys, the yen is so weak, which is good for me, unfortunately, right? Or fortunately, because my dollar's going to go a long way over there. And I want to be generous if I can, bring some money to their economy. It's not going to be much, but, but yes, you're right, Plan C. A lot of people haven't noticed that. Jamor says, but it's crazy the contrast between how they acted in World War II compared to now. I can answer some of that too, Jamor. You always have to remember, there's a difference between what a government does and who the people really are and what they would want their governments to do. So, you look at what America does, right? It's really sad. Of course, they always try to make themselves out to be the good guy. But that's a whole other conversation. As they say, don't talk religion and politics. I got no problems talking about such things, but some people get their butt hurt a lot over a conversation like that. So anyway, let's see. Gwenevith says, my grandparents' generation was a lot more polite. There you go, that too. Old school. And I appreciate stuff like that. Some things are cultural, but it can still foster those qualities in people. I completely agree. See, you said it really well. Okay, any questions or comments, go for it. Meanwhile, I'll share a 2015 study. Oh wait, no, they did 15 studies. Wow, in just 2015 alone. And what do they show? It showed that green tea matcha was associated with decreased risk of liver disease. Well, they really did help with the liver. Remember, we were just talking about that. Okay. Then in 2020, they did, let's see here, that matcha would benefit people with fatty liver disease. So does hydrogen too. I noticed that one. That's been interesting. I'll do both. Dramor says, that's a very valid point of did not consider. Imperial Japan was very judgmental and supremacist. Plan C says the U.S. might help them out because the USA does not want them to sell U.S. treasuries to prop up the yen. Holding any fate these days is risky. Okay, I'm not really sure, but yeah. I know Japan's really connected to the US these days. Okay, and then of course, wow, they're talking about studies of green tea extract in animals. Okay, that's interesting. Next one, green tea or matcha. Let's see, that's weird, what happened there? Yen, oh, yen, I see. Caleb Copey says, what's your testosterone levels? All I remember was I did get them checked and they told me they were really, really healthy levels. Now, I didn't really look too much into it after that. As long as what I was doing was working. And see, here's the difference. I have certain opinions on this, and I see these things in my mind's eye. And of course, I do a lot of research. I weigh a lot of things when I make decisions. And basically what I can tell you is I believe in my body making the hormones that I really need. And so I found lots of research that when you ingest things with hormones, it throws you off hormonally. So whether it's eggs, meat, dairy products, things of this nature. So what I do is I stay off of hormones. Any food that has hormone, even natural hormone, I stay away from it. And I try to produce my own. I had a friend who, he's actually way ahead of his time, because this friend, I knew him decades ago. And he was a bodybuilder guy, you know, and back in the day, I used to be really into lifting when I was young and silliness, right? And so he told me the secret. And I was like, okay, what's the secret? And he was really big. He didn't do steroids or anything like that. He knew a lot about steroids though, which is why he didn't do them, but he would always tell me he was tempted because he wanted to be a pro bodybuilder. He said, the secret is your legs. And I was like, my legs? What are you talking about? He said, if you want to increase your testosterone naturally, obviously you need all your nutrients and everything, okay? But he says, work your legs. I didn't believe him at first, but I still did it anyway. I mean, you got to exercise anyway. So, you know, I would work the legs and whatnot. And having good, strong legs is important, blah, blah, blah. A decade later, so 10 years after he told me, first study came out proving exactly what he said, that working out your legs, you can increase your testosterone levels naturally. And so the way that I've been able to do it, every time I do blood work or talk to a doctor or a naturopath, trying to see some of my numbers, it always shocks them. They're always shocked. They were shocked about my testosterone levels because I don't eat anything with hormone really. And so that really shocked them. And of course, all sorts of different levels that I have, whether it's minerals or just nutrients in general, are like literally, dare I say, apparently perfect. That's just what they're telling me. They're like, your levels are like unbelievable. And so my method is working, you know, and I just keep going with it. Let's see here. Plan C says, any currencies? I'm assuming you're meaning currencies. I don't know if I can read all this stuff. Drumore says, my legs are ginormous. I've always had really big legs. Well, there you go. Good for you, man. My friends, I mean, I'm not saying it's even the size of your legs. You know, I don't have huge legs, but I exercise them. My friends and even adults would gather around me to watch me blast the soccer ball really, really high into the air. Hey, you're lucky. You got good genetics. And Drumore says, they were even begging me to join the football team as a punter. Hey, you should. If you can become a professional punter, work a few years and retire. All right. You guys can keep asking questions or comments as we go if you'd like. So the next matcha, back to the matcha. Guys, this is some research that's very interesting. Several components of matcha. I'm telling you, plants, herbs, vegetables, you know, fruits, nuts, seeds, these things are really amazing. Basically, the components in matcha basically show to enhance brain function. You're scared of dementia, Alzheimer's, yada, yada, yada. I know a woman who is like just close to 100 years old. Her brain perfectly sharp, drinks green tea all the time. She's a Japanese lady, an old lady. That's another thing that'll be really fun for the channel is maybe I'll interview some old people because, I mean, people who are like 100 years old and farming, guys, it's just so unbelievable. I'm so impressed by some of the things that they're doing. The Japanese, I'm telling you, there's things that people don't understand or know about their culture and about the Japanese. Really impressive. I mean, you can find bad things about anything, even about vegetables. People complain about oxalates. You know, drink enough water though and make sure you get all your nutrients and use hydrogen, and I think it's fine. I'm not worried about oxalates. I've been doing this for a long time and my body and my blood is only improving, not getting worse. Okay, some participants consume, let's see, they were using 4 grams of matcha. They're talking about the controlled group, the placebo group, blah, blah, blah. But what did they find? That's all I care about. What did they find? Wow. Better attention, better reaction time, better memory as compared to the people with the placebo. Interesting. 2 months. In 2 months, the brain function improved. And by the way, you combine that with hydrogen for the brain. I've seen amazing, I have seen hydrogen do more amazing things, but I like to combine stuff. What's my take on cholesterol? My take on cholesterol is that life is all about balance. So you just need it properly balanced. You don't want it too high. You don't want it too low. Proper balances of everything. And the body does a lot of it automatically. You just have to give it what it needs. Jamor says, whoops, that's the truth though. Okay. Matcha higher. Okay, so matcha obviously does have caffeine. And I mean, I don't like to overdo caffeine or anything, but I know a lot of people poo-poo it. I'm fine with it. If it comes naturally in my food, it's fine. Just my opinion. Okay. That was a crazy part too. I was telling you guys, I didn't think that I was going to gain almost 20 pounds in 3.5 months. I'm going to have to write down these some of these protocols, because I don't think anybody expects them to work that good. Even I don't expect some of this stuff to work that good, and it does. Though I think hydrogen's a secret, personally. Jamor says, nah, but reciprocal relationships are the best in general. Sure. Yes. Okay. I just like kindness. Everybody be kind, and everybody take care of themselves, be healthy, grow clean food, you know, everything just nice, kind, and clean. Octavio Moreno says, can you build a protocol on how to build muscle the healthy way, please? I think I already have a protocol now. I'm doing it to myself. It's just a matter of sharing it at some point. But most of the stuff that you see me doing already on camera is, I only have a little bit of time left. Is what you're, I honestly have a hard time understanding how I'm gaining weight with this food. I don't get it, because I don't eat that much. And you've seen the smoothie. I don't eat anything after this till dinner time. So it almost doesn't make sense. And you guys have seen my videos of my dinners. But I think personally, my growth as far as like, you know, muscle strength, and I'm getting stronger too, it's gonna peak out. I think I'm gonna peak out probably 68 pounds at probably 7, maybe 8% body fat. And that's not like me trying, that's just me doing a healthy protocol, and that's it. Jamor says, LOL, you missed my first comment and the rest because confusing as a result. Do I need to go back? Okay, Jamor, let's see what your first comment was. You made so many. Yeah, I did read it. You're begging you to go on the soccer team or football team or whatever. We did see all that, didn't we? I didn't. Whoops, that's the truth. They were, yeah, no, I read it all. Okay, how tall are you? 6 feet. So yeah, I'm 6 feet. I think I'll end up at 160 something. I don't think I'll get past 170s with the way that I'm doing things. And I'm not trying to, that's the thing. I'm not trying to have a certain amount of weight or be at a certain fat. I'm just doing what's good for the body and then see where it goes naturally. I mean, I barely exercise, to be quite honest with you guys. Okay, now this is interesting. Matcha, the green tea, also has a compound which actually alters the effects of caffeine on the body. That is interesting. And it promotes alertness without having the crash in energy levels that people normally get when consuming caffeine. That is very interesting and fascinating. I did not know that. Okay, let's see. Jamor says, I've been craving 7-Eleven rollers, they call them, and pizza. Okay. Sometimes I crave pizza, but if I get pizza, I did get one actually recently, and it was an Italian pizza, and it was all organic and stuff anyway. Tuin says, perfect weight. Well, right now I don't weigh 168 or whatever. Right now I'm 156. But not long ago, actually, if you go back to some of my videos, not long ago, I was 141, something like that. So I've gained, but I've mostly gained it in my, I would say my legs. I'm just focused on my legs. And I do very little upper body. Caleb says, I eat twice a day, 20 hours between my last and first meal, and do a 48-hour dry fast once a week. How do you do 48 hours once a week? I guess that would be 2 times a week. That's 2 days, right? And my muscle mass is decent. Well, I will say there's research on this, and I was going to do a video. I just didn't know how to title it, actually. Maybe you guys give me an idea. of hydrogen appears to actually help you maintain your muscle mass. So even when you're fasting or doing different things, because I went without exercise for, gosh, it was nudging on, it was like 5-6 years. And I did it on purpose because I wanted to see the effects of how much hydrogen could hold on to my muscle mass. And it did for quite a while. And then eventually, but I mean, years. Pretty amazing. Mr. Tahoe says, are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. I'm inhaling hydrogen if that's what you mean. It's good for me, so that's why I'm inhaling it. I'm definitely okay. Probably more okay than the average person, according to all the studies that I've had done to me, and the doctors. They say that I'm top 1%, if not less, top 0.5% of the healthiest people in all the United States. I'm like, wow, as far as my numbers are concerned. Dramer says, but I eat a lot of veggies and fruits and rice as well. Very good. Mr. Tahoe says, why does your house look so familiar? Okay. I don't know. Maybe it looks like a cabin. Jamor says, oh, that's really weird. One of my comments was censored. Oh, interesting. Twin says, do you eat avocados? I love avocados. Yes, I eat them. I eat them almost every single day. I think they're really important for my type of diet. I need those fats. Where do you get your fats? That was one of them. And then the nuts and the seeds, and obviously a lot of beans, things like that. Sauerkraut says, I know hydrogen does well for oxidative stress in terms of inflammation. Yes. But does it actually help with physical inflammation like from muscles or an injury? In my opinion, yes. It works differently though. And what I can tell you is it appears to help the body recover faster. That's the biggest thing that I've seen. They did a research study in Japan on a bunch of soccer athletes, and they were seeing their endurance without hydrogen than they did it with hydrogen. Their endurance was greater, their recovery time was better. Just so much better in general. I mean, to me, hydrogen is like, it's kind of one of the best kept secrets right now, but it's getting out there. Obviously, I've been talking about it for like a decade. Brandon says, what is your new YouTube channel? I don't know if you'll find it. Yeah, I don't know if you'll find it. But you can email me if you want to know more about it. But it's called Happy Japan, but I kind of don't think you'll find it. Clearly, there's no videos up. And for a lot of people, it'll probably be boring. It's just going to be, a lot of spiritual stuff. A lot about happiness and joy and what it takes to find it. Excuse me, the food. When I try to talk. So, okay, moving on with matcha. It appears that it might actually help prevent cancer, which I kind of sort of knew about. I'm in. What's your email? Uprising144k at gmail.com. Jamor says, that's funny. We both started a new channel at the same time. Oops. Is going to be what I'm sticking to. Anne says, I like spiritual stuff. Looking forward to hearing more of that side of you. Yeah, I don't talk about it here because this is really more about health. But yeah, that's actually, okay. I don't know if you guys really want to know the real reason I'm going. Let's just say that's top of the list. Sauerkraut says, how many times a day do you eat? Typically 2 or 3, and that's it. And that's based on a lot of data. The Japanese do probably more research than I've ever seen on diet and food and eating times. I mean, it's amazing the research they've done. So it's a really good source of it. Dramor says, I'm good at photography. How old are you, Dramor? Like 5? He's like, I'm good at taking pictures. Good for you, brother. All right, Brandon says, well, hydrogen water help with chronic pain and inflammation. In my personal opinion, absolutely. That was one of the things that I had. I had really bad inflammation all over the place, autoimmune issues. I did have some tumors in my body, heart condition, and my liver and my kidneys were absolute crap. My immune system was garbage, but I had really such bad inflammation, I literally couldn't lift a glass like this. I couldn't do that. It hurt too much. that arthritis. On top of it all, I couldn't walk. So it was pretty bad. But I would do a real, like the proper protocol, meaning, you know, I show all of it on my channel. The clean water, actually cleanly, properly made hydrogen water and gas, which I'm inhaling right now. Not Chili Boo Boo says, can I ask you something? That's, I think, what we're doing here. But we'll see. Not sure I'll answer or be able to answer it. Sauerkraut says, does hydrogen help with chronic fatigue syndrome and also insomnia because I can't sleep anymore? Well, my protocols are definitely good for those two things. I've done a protocol with many people who've had chronic fatigue syndrome. They told me that the results were better than any doctor, any method, anything that's ever worked for them. And I worked with some people who had some serious chronic fatigue. And then, of course, sleepy time. When you do proper protocols, you tend to sleep better. Okay, so not Chili Boo Boo. I'm not even sure if, you know that we don't have free speech. The simple answer is that I get in, well, I don't even know if I should say this. I have no, you know what, just email me about it if it's that important to you. You know, all I'll tell you is this. A lot of people don't know that I worked and specialized in the medical field for 2 decades, maybe a little more. I know how these things work. When it comes to experimental stuff, and again, I'm not making any claims, guys. All I'm telling you is that, and this goes for a lot of things. It's not just medicine. It's even like cars. Like if some new car comes out, I'm not the first one to jump on because then later on they're like, oh, this, you know, this car had this problem, this recall, and blah, 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 blah. I'm not really big on new technology. When it comes to new technology, I always like to wait and see more data. So I'm very cautious about such things. In the human body, I know how complex it is, okay? I understand it very well as far as its complexities, and so many people get it wrong because they just look at certain aspects of data. So anyway, I don't know if that answers your question. It probably does, but if you're paying attention. Brandon says, cool, what brand do you recommend for a carbon distilled water filter? I recommend the one at a website called mypurewater.com. Mypurewater.com. They use the word pure. Everything I find seems to have something to do with purity. And I believe in purity. And if you do want a discount code, you can also use the code Uprising144K. It'll help me out on my travels. Gives you a discount. Win-win for everybody. That's what I use. I can show it to you. It's running right here, right next to me. Super awesome product. I love it. Sauerkraut says, awesome to hear. Gwenevette says, when you talk about your protocol, what do you mean? Hydro water and inhalation, the smoothies, the diet, the exercise, the sleep. How much of the water you're consuming, when you're consuming it, when you're doing your inhalation, what kind of equipment are you using, overcoming nutritional deficiencies and how I do that, things like that. And it's different for every person. If you're on high blood pressure medicine, if you're diabetic, if it's type 1, if it's type 2, there's all sorts of different stuff. That's kind of why sometimes, you know, I have to talk to people individually. GC118 says, hey Greg, can you share your intense detox cleansing experience? Oh boy. I remember you mentioning you went through an expensive, lengthy process. I'm interested in doing the same. I don't think I have the time for that because I got work to go. I have to go real soon. All I can tell you is that it did change my life. I did not realize how important it was for the body to be clean and pure. This is why I'm all about purity. It caused something that was, dare I say, supernatural. And my experience was so profound. That's why I now treat my body the way that I do. I do believe very much so now that the body is a temple. It is super special. I don't think we understand how special it is. And everything we're putting in our mouths is going to end up in our blood. And I'm very big about keeping my blood clean and doing what I can for my spirit, my body, and then also being good to others is all part of it. As a very wise man named Yeshua, which AKA Jesus, once said, you know, it's funny when they asked him, this is in scripture, it's funny, when they said, hey, what's the most important teaching of all your teachings? He didn't say, the most important thing is that you give 10% to the church. Nope, he didn't say that, right? He also didn't say, you know what, the most important thing is that you accept me as your Lord and Savior, by the way, and then give 10% to the church. And go get baptized, by the way. He actually didn't say that. When they asked him what the most important thing was, he said, love one another as I have loved you. I just think that it's so foundational to be kind to others and yourself. It's really that simple. But anyway, we can go into you can ask me that question later. Maybe on my new channel, that's actually maybe a better place to touch on that. Not Chili says, bro got the Fauci ouch. Well, you clearly weren't listening. Then if you really believe that, you weren't listening. I just got done saying, never mind. It's okay. I'm going to move on. Let's see. Sauerkraut says, I'll say it. You'll say it. Helen says, I look forward to seeing your new channel in the future. If you can find it, I'll put a video about it later on, maybe. Helen says, I look forward to seeing, oh yeah. Not Chili says, Alexa Pro is a good water filter. It's okay. I mean, Alexa Pro, I have one. It's okay. Is it the best filter out there? Not even close. The reason I have an Alexa Pro is for emergency purposes. If something goes down and I need to take some type of river water or something to get water, then that's what I'll do. It's my backup. If I want the best water in the world, as far as cleanliness, it has to be carbon distilled. That's the way nature does it, by the way. I keep telling you guys, I observe nature. You know, whoever you believe created it. Obviously, the ancient scriptures say that God created the heavens and the earth, you know, but whatever you want to believe, all I'll say is that nature is brilliant, super smart, super amazing, and I observe nature in order to create my protocols. I also, I could give you guys an example. So let's see here. If I were to give you an example on water, does anybody know how nature cleans water? And I probably should stick to the matcha thing. I wanted to finish this one. I'll get back to it if you guys are interested or curious. Twin says he's healthier than anyone you know. I don't know who he is, but it's always great when somebody is healthy. I like when people are healthy. I want people healthy and happy. And Twins just said it. Is rain. Rain is distilled water. That's absolutely right. Nature distills water. That's how it cleans it. That's absolutely correct. Okay. So matcha green tea appears to help protect you against cancer because it has these specific compounds that are specifically linked to cancer prevention in animal studies, of course. Wow, I did not know this. Matcha is high in EGCG, which is a type of catechin that may have powerful anti-cancer properties. Okay. Oh, Twin says you. Well, thank you. That's very kind. Thank you so much. So they're actually having some laboratory studies that are suggesting that it may help prevent certain types of cancer. Although we need to do more research. Yeah, they'll never do more research, right? They're going to see how important it is. It appears that it most likely will promote heart health. That's great. Helps you lose weight. Wow. Green tea is actually well known for its ability to enhance weight loss. If anybody wants to lose weight, start drinking green tea every morning instead of coffee. Sauerkraut says, start researching turkey tail after you started talking about it. Crazy healing properties. I definitely know about turkey tail. In fact, that was a supplement I took at the very beginning of this video. But it's a special turkey tail. It's the most powerful one and a special extracted whey. Do you have any experiences with Paul Stamets brand of mushrooms? Yes, I do. He has 17 mixed blends. Sounds pretty cool. Yes, I've taken it before. I've known other people who've taken it before. I love Paul Stamets. His stuff is great. So I wouldn't say anything bad about Paul Stamets. His stuff is really good. I like Paul. I think he's a good guy too. And I think he's got a good heart. And all those things, in my opinion, are important for, you know, your own soul. So for his sake, I'm sure he's doing great. Okay. So this is interesting. Wow, green tea is really good for weight loss. They actually did this whole thing. Wow. Okay. Green tea, good for weight loss. Matcha tea is also easy to prepare. Oh, big deal. That wasn't really what I was looking for. Do you have any? Oh yeah, you already did. Okay, and I think that was the last one. Side effects of matcha. Now this is weird that they put this in here. Drinking matcha increases your exposure to contaminants like pesticides, chemicals, arsenic, blah, blah, blah. And that is what I saw on green matcha that wasn't from Japan. There's a reason that the one I'm using is from Japan, because the other ones, and some come from a country that I won't name, starts with a C. It's really huge. I'm just kidding. I think I can say it, but yeah, so that's very interesting. Let's see here. Frequently, okay, so that's about it. So that was just stuff that's been proven. I bet you, let's see, I just bet you, here, hold on. Is green. I just have a feeling about this one. Let's see. Sauerkraut says, did you say it was your brother with kidney disease and the hydrogen reversed it, or was it someone else's video I watched? No, it was mine. One of my brothers was about to get on dialysis, and he did my protocol. He called me, I was shocked, I had no idea. And Donald Trump voice, China. Oh boy, China. All right. So anyway, he didn't just, he did my protocol. My protocol consisted of super clean water, super clean hydrogen made properly. And if you don't do it properly, I've seen people use these machines, they're the Brown's gas machines or ones that use lye. I'm not kidding you. I've seen it do terrible things to people's kidneys. So anyway, so make sure it's really clean. And then he followed the kind of diet that I personally do and would suggest, and he had really great results. His kidney disease reversed, and the doctor's shocked. They're like, oh, I guess you don't need to go on dialysis. So that was nice. Reversing, Sauerkraut says, reversing kidney disease is almost a myth. That's so wonderful. I know, they say that it's not, they told him that it wasn't possible and he did it. And I thought that once they saw that, they'd be impressed and they're like, oh, I guess you don't have to go on dialysis. That was it. It's like, you can go now. They didn't even ask him what he did. Okay, let's see here. See, here we go. Catechins are emerging as a promising anti-parasitic agent. This is something that I had a feeling about. It appears matcha and green tea might have anti-parasitic properties. If you guys know, I'm really big on things that are anti-parasitic, bring down the parasites in the body. Hydrogen appears to be also anti-parasitic. Most of the ingredients I have in here are mostly anti-parasitic. Keep the body clean, really, really clean. You know, it's so funny. This book is really old. Actually, it was translated from the from ancient scrolls, ancient Dead Sea Scrolls in some cases, and it's really weird because there's stories in there about a man named Jesus or Yeshua, and he literally talks about parasites. It's so crazy and how they affect your brain, and that's what I experienced when I cleaned my body out. And the stuff that came out of me, I have pictures. You just can't believe the stuff that's in us, guys. The stuff that's being housed in this house. It's crazy. Chili Boo Boo says, oh, I'm going to start drinking green tea. What do you recommend? Like I said, it's either matcha green tea or just green tea. Make sure it's from Japan. Make sure it's organic. What's the name of the book? It's called The Essene Gospel of Peace. And a lot of people poo-pooed it. I didn't know if it was real until I read the last pages, because the last pages are something that matcha from Japan, that's right. When are you moving to Japan? Real soon. I'm just gonna tell you real soon, so stay tuned. I'll probably release some health videos from there, so I'll still be running this channel. So, it appears that green tea is anti-parasitic. Drink that every day. Put that in your cup and drink it, huh? All right. More research coming out. Wow. Anti-cancer properties. We already know that. It's also a probiotic powerhouse, increasing good bacteria, which, by the way, hydrogen does that too. The more things we can do that are good for us, the more they compile. Green tea and matcha appears to decrease bad gut bacteria and increase good gut bacteria. That is awesome. And wow, good polyphenols, yada. Oh, even good for oral health. There you go. It supports healthy teeth and gums by killing the bad bacteria that causes dental plaque and bad breath. Look at that. Is that why I don't have bad breath? No, it's, you want to take good care. It's weird that they even have research on bad breath and being linked to certain foods and diets. Matcha's high level of polyphenols also has literally a positive effect that can potentially abolish halitosis, which is bad breath, basically, for those of you who don't know. Wow, very interesting. Weight loss, yeah, we already know it helps with weight loss. That's pretty wild. Oh, wow, it's gonna, oh, okay. Wow, matcha increases, well, hydrogen does this too. Increases what's called thermogenesis. And the body's ability to burn calories. Whoa, that's interesting. When you use the matcha, it can go from 8 to 10% of daily energy expenditure to as much as 35 and 43%. No wonder you lose weight. Wow. Anybody who wants to lose weight, you know. Liver cleanser. Yeah, we already knew that. There was a Journal of Medicine and Food study in 2009, and they even did it with people who had type 2 diabetes. Wow. This is, wow, it was helping. The research found that it would decrease levels of cholesterol, blood sugar, so wow, it's helping control blood glucose, and harmful blood fats. I told you, everything's about the blood, guys. You want to get those harmful blood fats out of there. Otherwise, it clogs everything up. And can protect you from liver and kidney damage. Wow, and blood sugar stabilizer. Wow. Okay, let's see. Somebody says GC118. Have you heard of the oligoscan test? It's supposed to be great for heavy metal detection. I think I have heard of it. I think I've actually had it done, but that was years ago. HMA test tells you metal levels pretty well. Okay, hydration enabler. Wow, I didn't know that drinking a lot of matcha keeps you hydrated. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Yes, even the small amounts. Wow. So let's see, it even says that coffee obviously will dehydrate you, and so does caffeine, but for some reason, when you do it in green tea, it keeps you hydrated, alert, and feeling great. Wow. Okay, well, there's a lot of good stuff about green tea matcha. All right, guys, I think I gotta go. Amy says, that is a lot of wows. I guess I should start drinking matcha. Well, it's amazing, but you know what? If I were to just read about beets, it would be so many amazing things. If I were to just read about celery, it'd be so. I was talking about how it appears that it helps with the stem cells in your body, making more of them. And yada, 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 guys. It's a simple protocol. Clean water with hydrogen and these smoothies, just that, I just think it's amazing for your health. Okay, GC118 says, thank you, have a wonderful day. Sauerkraut says, thank you for these videos. You're very welcome. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all the thumbs up, subscribing, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time on the next one.